a nice spot. This is nice. Ooh, perfect. The grass is greener, baby. The grass is greener. And it's real. All right. Greetings, fellow Earthlings. Today is April 22nd, 2024, and this is episode 16 of MindMosaic. Crazy stuff. So yeah, welcome. We're in the field, guys. We're on the ground. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the heck I'm talking about. I brought a hacky sack though. But yeah, episode 16, and this is the last episode of Space Month. So I kind of wanted to have this video be kind of like a conclusion, a way to wrap up this past month of April. It's been a really good one. I think I've enjoyed some of the topics that we've dove into, dove in, that we've dived. I've greatly gleaned a lot of value from the topics that we've explored during this month. And yeah, I would hope the same can be said for you, my friend. So, given that this is kind of our conclusion episode of space, I wanted all of us, to take a moment to kind of reflect on our own lives this past month and in general, and think about ways in which the topics we've explored during this month apply to our lives and the things we're going through. So topics like the cosmic mindset, being that of expanded awareness, of creating or cultivating a more all-encompassing perspective that can that holds space for the inclusion of many diverse perspectives. Then there's the topic of presence, of being here and now in the one song, peace, being able to find that blissful contentment that is just abundantly present in every moment. And then 3 is what we explored last week, the concept of the universe, spelled Y-O-U, universe. And that being the idea of our intrinsic and implicit and tangible, visceral connection to all of existence, the understanding of your place in the universe. So, let's take a moment, to kind of reflect on how that might resonate with our own lives, and having that moment to kind of see and discover what aspects of those ideas might garner further, more profound discoveries upon further exploration. So find what resonates and explore those ideas more, whether it's presence, mindfulness, or exploring your connection to the history and the ever unfolding story of the cosmos. Whatever it is, just find something there that that fuels your further exploration. So with that said, I wanna dive into the meat of this video, and that being a sort of practical guide to becoming one with the universe. And I know that that sounds absurd and definitely not something that any human being would be able to provide to another human being, but I beg to differ, and I think that that's exactly what being human is all about. You know, we figure it out and we teach each other what we learn of along our journey of becoming one with the universe. This isn't one of those situations where it's like, by the end of this video you're gonna be one with the universe, and you'll never have to worry about any kind of dissatisfaction or suffering ever again because you'll be completely enlightened. And that's not what this is, because I believe that the road to achieving that state of total unification with everything is it's a gradual one, and it's a journey. There's a lot of steps that you need to take, there's a lot of experiences you need to have, and it's a long road, but every step matters, and every step is just as important as every other one, inching you closer and closer to that ultimate unification with everything, with where you came from. And so yeah, this video is just one of those steps. This is a step along your path, along your journey. You coming across this video is just a necessary increment along this process of ascension. So what does it take to become one with the universe? What are the steps? What's the manual? What's the roadmap? What's the guide? Well, I've three things to say on that. The first is a disclaimer. The second is a very good piece of advice that you might not want to hear. And the third is my best piece of advice that is universally true. So the disclaimer is that all of our own journeys to unification with the cosmos are going to be different. And no two people are going to walk the same path. No two people are going to come to certain epiphanies and realizations in the same way. No one will. Everyone's road there is different. Some people it's lined with made of bricks. Some people it's like a trail through the woods and you gotta like chop through the branches. Some people it's like a walk on a sandy beach. Some people it's a treacherous hike up a volcano or something, you know what I mean? But we're all going to the same place, and all paths lead to that same place. So that's the disclaimer, is that like there's no one answer, there's no one way, and that kind of leads into the second point, and that the reason, and this is the piece of advice that you might not want to hear, because the reason why there's no one answer and there's no one key to ascension or enlightenment, even though everyone claims that they have it, like all the different religions of the world, like everyone has their own like methodology that they say like, oh, this is the only thing that works, this is what will work for you, and it's the only thing that works, right? The reason why everyone says that, and yet there's so many of them, the reason why Jesus is the path, then the Buddha is the path, and then like, oh, screw all that, science is the only way, oh, nah, Jesus is king, like whatever, like the only reason everyone claims that they have the one true way is because they do, but it's personal. And the true the true moment of ascension doesn't involve anything changing. It doesn't involve you going anywhere that you aren't already. It doesn't involve something in you changing fundamentally. It's just a realization. Ascension. Becoming ascension. Becoming one with everything is a realization. It's an epiphany. And that realization is that you are. You are now, already. That's the realization that all that becoming one with the universe entails, as much as we think of it as some like voyage, journey, or odyssey, it is all those things, but it's like the ultimate voyage or odyssey because it's an internal journey. You're not going anywhere, you're not seeing anything, you're not doing anything. It's literally just realizing that you already are one with everything and being able to accept it. Like, that's what it actually is, which is like crazy because we think all the time like, oh, I would give up my humanity and be one with the universe in a heartbeat, because then you're liberated from suffering. You're no longer experiencing any kind of like dissatisfaction of any kind. You're just everything, you know? But the thing is, you already are that. But at some level, you literally cannot accept it. Like, at some level in your heart, you aren't open to that truth. You're literally like closed off to it. It's like, think about it like this. The force that gives life, that breathes life into everything, that, you know, spins the planets around the sun, that, you know, draws the water up through the trunk of the tree, that makes the sky blue, that makes the birds sing, that makes the sun shine, like, that force is love. And it's unconditional. And unconditional love is crazy because it's like, we want love, but we almost want it to be exclusive and conditional, because the truest truth is that you are loved infinitely, eternally. But so is everything else. Like, the animating force of reality is indiscriminate, and it doesn't favorite, it doesn't prioritize, it has no like exclusivity to it. It just loves abundantly, eternally. And as humans, we're like disappointed because it's like, oh, it doesn't just like love me in some kind of special way, like, oh, I'm not special. It's so funny because it's like, we could be just love, like totally loved, eternally, just like cosmically loved, and yet we like chase our own tails and like bite our own tongues for no reason, just because we're like well, for a number of complex reasons, whatever it might be, you know. But usually it's just like an inability to like love ourselves. Like that's really what it is. Like we just like don't like ourselves in some way. We, feel like selfish or ignorant or ungrateful or whatever it is, like whatever like negative trait that we project onto ourselves, like inadvertently becomes the only thing that's like holding us back from just being present and just being immersed in the love and the beauty that surrounds us all the time, that's just always here. The only thing that actually stops you from that, from just existing in that state. I should stop saying the only thing because it's not just one thing. It's like what the hell? It's sort of, I just heard a really weird sound. It sounded like a cat. Anyway, it's like maybe here's a good way to put it. It's like there is a billion reasons to not to love, you know? Oh, I don't love this because this did this to me in the past. I don't love that because, oh, it has that little mark on it. It has a little smudge on it. Oh, I don't like this because it's bent that way. It should be bent this way. And oh, I don't like that because it's the wrong color. I don't like that because it smells weird. But there's only one reason to love. To love unconditionally. That honestly brings me to like the third and final actually practical tip to becoming one with the universe. And it's the culmination of this whole month. And it is cheesy, but it works. And that's just to open your heart. Because, like, it's hard. Like, it is actually hard to just open your heart and love unconditionally. Because we're so, like, and it's understandable, like, why we hold so much judgment and why we find it so difficult to just accept things as they are. Because, like, we're humans, we're mortal. We literally are mortal. And so it's like, at a certain level, I feel like our mortality gives us like this anxiety that, like, oh, since I'm gonna die, and since there's already suffering inherent to the experience of life, like, I'm going to be resistant to anything that inconveniences that already hard process anymore. And that's understandable. Like, that is like completely understandable. It's human. It's human nature to be like, oh no, I don't want that because it like doesn't meet my standard. It's normal. But that will only lead you to more suffering, which is like the shitty but also hilarious part of it. It's like annoying. It literally is annoying, but it's so on the money because it's like, it makes so much sense. It's like, oh, how do you like escape, or maybe that's the wrong word, but how do you like move out of this state of like this dimension of like, not to say that there's anything wrong with it, but like it could be better, right? This experience could be better. it gets better when you realize that it's actually just perfect how it is. And the only thing that makes it not perfect is like the belief that it isn't perfect, which is just a projection. Hey, it's me. I wanted to quickly clarify that I don't believe everything is perfect. I believe everything is imperfect, but that imperfection does not make it deserving of my condemnation. And all that my judgment does is place chains upon myself and keeps me from being able to love and enjoy the universe as it is in its full authenticity. Like, that's what I mean when I say the universe loves unconditionally. I don't mean like it loves in like this, like, it loves unconditionally. It's being able to sacrifice your own human, mortal, like, twisted view of what perfection is. That is completely influenced by like all of your experiences, all of your preferences, all of your like likes and dislikes. It's being able to forfeit that and literally like surrender that, which is not easy because it's basically saying like I accept things as they are, which is like one of the most like taboo things to do as a human. We're always trying to like fix everything and like make it right, you know? Make it how it's supposed to be according to us. But we don't know. We don't know anything, you know? We're so like presumptuous. It's being able to like sacrifice that. And that's in a sense kind of like sacrificing yourself too, because it's like connected to your ego. Like, think about like what it means to say like, oh, I accept things as they are. Like, you're essentially putting all of it to the wayside. Like, everything that you hold dear, everything that you like despise wholeheartedly, all of your opinions, everything that you believe in like so much and so deeply, you literally have to like let go of that and just say like, okay, I trust you. I trust you, universe. I trust everything else. I trust that like that you know better than I what's best. And in that moment, a weight is just lifted off your shoulders. You sit up a little straighter, you can breathe a little better. You like blink your eyes, like everything seems a little more vibrant. You can hear the birds a little bit more. And you realize like, oh, it actually is perfect. The only thing that's like making it not perfect is my projection, my opinion. That's kind of what I've been talking about this whole time without even realizing it, like grace. Maybe that's not what the word means, but like to me in this moment right now, that's what it feels like that word means. The grace to be able to like look at something ugly, like a dead dog. I think that's actually a story from the Bible even or something. Like Jesus saw a dead dog and was like, wow, such healthy teeth. Which is ridiculous. But like the grace, you know, to be able to do something like that, to be able to look at a dead dog and say like, ah, what a glorious creation of this universe. What a poignant and true manifestation of the infinite, unknowable will of the cosmos, you know? To say that as opposed to being like, oh, this gross, get away from me. Like, that's grace. And that is true love. That's unconditional love, to be able to like hold like that level of like acceptance for things as they are. That's the secret sauce, baby. That's the liberatory thing. And like that's why every religion has like their own word for it. Like in Christianity, it's literally Jesus. Like Jesus is like the embodiment of that. Jesus is like the human who's like not yet one with the universe. He's still in flesh, and yet he is like God because he accepts and forgives and loves, and he like helps the sick and like feeds the hungry, and like that's what it's all about. It's like extending that hand to those who are in need, but also like putting yourself below them and saying like, I am no better than you. I am just doing my duty to you. I am doing my, like, this is my responsibility to you as a child of God, seeing another child of God in need, suffering, you know? This is my responsibility. It's like in the Bible they talk about how like sin is this thing that it's like the selfish, ego-driven urge to basically pursue your own interests at the expense of others. And how sin, this fundamental principle, leads to all of the suffering and corruption in the whole world. Like every like negative thing that humans have ever been responsible for, it comes from like this primary, like central place of sin. And so how do you rid yourself of sin? How do you like purify yourself? Because this is the whole Christian idea, right? We're sick. We were born sick. We have sin. How do you, because you can't take it to heaven, you can't take the sin to heaven. How do you get to heaven as human? You still have sin. And the answer that is proposed in the Bible is forgiveness, which is right on the money, because it's like that's exactly what it is. And while I think it's funny because the idea of sin in contemporary Christianity has kind of morphed into this thing that is supposed to be shameful, and it's like, oh, you're like, if you commit the sin, like you're like condemned and you're forsaken, and like it's like bad. It's against the rules, you know? That's not what the original thing was meant to say. The original thing was meant to say like, no, sin is natural. Sin is like an inherent part of reality. There's no avoiding it. In the same way that like the first noble truth of Buddhism is there is suffering. It's literally, they're both saying the exact same thing. Like, there is suffering. It's unavoidable. It's a fact of life. There is things that are, you know, that can cause discomfort. But the revelation is that the way to ascend, or the way to transcend, the way to break free from that is to accept it, to forgive it, to love it. Because that's literally what it is. Like, think about it. Like, think about the universe as like this place of potential, this void of potential. And of course, out of that void will arise both the spirit that loves unconditionally, loves everything that emerges from that void of potential, whether it's beautiful or ugly, whatever it is, the spirit that loves. And there will also be the spirit that can't love, that loves this but not that, you know? And that spirit will suffer and suffer and suffer until it can forgive and say, hey, wait a minute, no one decided that this infinite void of potential would be bad. No one decided that it would be good either. I'm bitter for no reason. I'm mad at reality for just being the way it is, for just being exactly natural. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, me, for subjecting myself to so much suffering. Yeah. Anyway, I think that that's quite a lot that I've said in this video. And just to kind of reiterate and tie up any loose ends. If you want to become one with the universe, recognize that you already are. And if that isn't satisfying, do some soul searching and figure out why not. And try and loosen those barriers. Try to let go of some of those expectations. Try to open yourself up more to the possibility of this being good. And that's the trick of it, because I promise you, and I can say this because I've experienced it many, many times, every step closer you get, the more like that dial of love gets turned up. And I think that it's just in you. Like, honestly, I think like I don't think that anything outside of me is doing that. I mean, maybe, but like I have no proof of that. But it's almost cooler to think like, oh shit, by accepting reality, I make reality better. Trust it. Like, that's really the best thing I can tell you. The best piece of advice. Because sure, open your heart is good, but like, you can't open your heart until you have faith. And faith is one of those tricky things because it's an illusion. Like, it's not even, at least my own experience of faith, like it's not like you say, okay, I'm about to take the leap of faith, but first I need some sign to know that it's gonna be okay. That's not what faith is. Faith is like, all right, here it goes. That's faith, you know, because it's like there's no like omen to tell you that like it will be okay. But you do it anyway. And it is. So I guess I'm kind of like your omen right now. And I'm gonna tell you that like it's worth it. And also, thanks for stopping by and tuning in. Because these interactions, you know, this is what it's all about. We get to help each other along, lend each other a hand along this cosmic journey of apotheosis and enlightenment and ascension. It's pretty great, you know. This is what it's all about. So I'm glad that you were able to be here. I'm hopeful that you're glad that I was able to be here as well. And yeah, just keep exploring. Explore your own inner universe, man. Like, there's a lot to be found. I find, there's almost more to be found in here than out there, And at least we have the tools. We have easy access to the inner cosmos. And yeah, be adventurous, be bold, be courageous, be daring, and just push like beyond your comfort zone. Like, push yourself to be more, you know because there's challenges, and there is obstacles, and there is suffering involved with that too, but it's like working out. You want to become better, you gotta like work for it. You gotta like put yourself in past your comfort zone. You gotta like hit failure. You gotta like go the distance and actually take that step outside of your comfort zone in order to enter into the strange world, But yeah, just keep exploring, keep being curious, and keep finding things in your life that are meaningful, and keep pouring as much love into those things as possible. And the things that you can't love, like that woodpecker right now, that's like boiling my blood, I'm just working to like, be chill with it, and just kind of accept it, because it's not going anywhere. And I mean, I'm leaving soon, but it stopped. Well, that's nice. But even if it didn't stop, I would be cool with that too. That's about it, man. Just open your heart and remember that every day is a gift, and just enjoy it and be grateful, every day. And yeah, that's honestly it. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for being here for this last episode of the Space Month. Next month is gonna be awesome, guys. So stay tuned and be excited. But yeah, until then, open your heart and love unconditionally, and see what happens. See the miracles that begin to appear in your life, because I guarantee that things will happen. Mountains will be moved. But yeah, just take it easy, and open your heart and love. All right, that's about it. I'll see you guys in 1 week's time, or it might be 2 weeks actually, because I don't know if there's another Monday during this month. But if there isn't, I will see you in a week, and if there is, I will see you in 2 weeks. All right, goodbye. My knees.